Angela, the Angel of Death, is back for some more fun and games at camp in Sleepaway Camp sequel, Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Now, I'm not sure who this lady is, this model for the cover, but it's not Angela as we see her in the movie, so I don't know who this is, but what's kind of the cool thing about this movie and about the role of Angela is that she's played by Pamela Springsteen, actually Bruce Springsteen's sister, so that's kind of cool, I think. Gives it more of that Jersey distinction that I guess was established in the first movie. That's cool. And she's really good in the movie. It's basically kind of what's happened. Of course, at the end of the first movie, we do realize that Angela, the little girl, she's actually a little boy. And she did a whole bunch of killing at the camp, and they sent her away. That's what's happened in between movies. And she's been off at an asylum getting psychotherapy, shock treatment, all this kind of stuff, and supposedly is rehabilitated. So where does she find herself? Except, I guess, at the only place she really knows or remembers or feels that she should be, and that's at camp. And she's a counselor now, but it doesn't take too long before she's back at her old ways and doing all the murdering once again. But hey, who can really blame her, right? The kids are a bunch of fucking brats in this movie. Doing all this horrible stuff, like sneaking off to drink and smoke drugs and fornicate, and they just have generally pretty bad potty mouths. So, as the Angel of Death, she has to bring her unique style of justice to these naughty kids. And that's basically what the movie is. People die off one by one in kind of fun horror movie kind of ways, as we see in stuff like the previous Sleepaway Camp and in stuff like, Friday the 13th movies. A lot of creative cool deaths and stuff like that. And kind of like the funny thing is, like, her being a counselor, she's like, oh, I had to send this kid home. Meanwhile, she, like, killed them. But it's like, it reaches a point where it's like, you sent, like, all these kids home, there's bloodstains over here. No, I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of a funny thing is the movie definitely, like, if the first movie, let's say, whether or not they admit it is more, I don't know, more unintentionally funny, I guess. This one very much adopts its comedic style and holds it quite dearly and embraces it, and everything that comes out of it is just gold. I think it's a very funny movie. And the kind of adding like the rock 80s soundtrack is a nice touch, like Sleepaway Camp or whatever, however the song goes. But it's pretty cool. And yeah, I think in continuing the story as Angel a little bit older and played by Pamela Springsteen, I think is a nice touch, because this time around she's not the shy, reserved little girl, but she's really dishing out her set of justice with a lot of personality. So unlike someone like Jason, who just kind of silently kills, she gets to talk back a little bit, which is good. The one person like, say no to drugs, and you have such a potty mouth. I thought that this would be appropriate for you. Look what's in there. Shit, you're a shitty friend. Things like that. Kind of back talking them and giving them appropriate sort of fate. So I don't know, she's more almost in line of in someone as like Freddy and stuff like that. And of course there's like nice gags where of course they very much do reference, like, this just isn't like a gag here, like with the claws and the mask. There is a whole section of the film where the kids are trying to scare the counselors by dressing up as like horror characters, and then things go quite a bit wrong, and when they see the real deal, a real killer, Angela, who gives them theirs. And I think she's great. I think Angela is a very underrated horror villain or killer, slasher, however you want to put it. I think she's pretty much up there with some of the best 80s horror icons. And of course, and much like the first movie, you do kind of think about whether or not it is in poor taste or not, whether it is insensitive or not to have this antagonist of the movie, this crazy killer, be someone who is transsexual. And yeah, I would say, like, if anybody finds fault with that, feels it is an inappropriate representation of the trans community, I understand that, but at the same time, I don't know, I think in a weird kind of way it is sort of empowering in a weird way, because I mean, you think about like the world this movie creates and the reality this creates. I mean, obviously Angela, she is the main character of the movie. She's the star. She's the hero of the movie. It's kind of through her point of view. So, was she's really, at least in terms of this movie, the normal one, and everyone around her, everyone else is kind of the freaks, and they're just these horrible, horrible people. And so I don't know. I feel she's empowered in the sense that she's not the victim. She's the one making victims of these other very, very bad people. And I think, I don't know, if maybe a young, confused person sees this kind of movie, they can see the value in that, you don't always have to be the victim. I mean, obviously, this is an extreme. I'm not saying like this movie should promote anyone who is transsexual killing people, but I'm just saying that in I don't know, in a symbolic kind of way, the role of the victim has been reversed for a trans person. I don't know. I find something positive, something empowering about that. But all that aside, I mean, whether you agree with that or not, or whether you feel, again, if whether it is inappropriate or insensitive portrayal of a transgender person or not, I mean, the movie's just fun. I mean, it's a fun horror movie, and I think Angela's a great character. She gets to really talk back at these kids, have fun time. Good night, campers, to the room full of dead people, and I don't know. It's so much better than the first movie, in my opinion. In fact, two and three are just fantastic, in my opinion. Pamela Springsteen is great, and it's a lot of fun. And I don't know, what can I say? I love the movie. This is just cheesy, cheesy 80s goodness. This is like the ultimate cheesy 80s slasher movie, really. And again, if you've seen all the Freddys, if you've seen all the Jasons, it's well worth giving Sleepaway Camp 2, specifically Sleepaway Camp 2 and Happy Campers, a look. I'm a happy camper. Are you? Check it out. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about Sleepaway Camp 3 soon and more horror movies for the remainder of October 2017. So keep an eye out for that. Until next time, I'll see you later and stay scared.